Hey there everybody, today's video is going to cover 4 reasons why your autistic child may play a little bit differently than other kids. Before I get into everything, I'll just introduce myself in case you're new to the channel. My name is Kayla. I have an 8-year-old son with autism, and I created this channel as a space where we can come together, share our resources, our experiences, and improve the lives of families living with autism. So welcome to our channel. Very early on, I noticed that Shane was playing a little bit differently than the other kids. He had a hard time following the rules, and he often didn't want to play games that required a lot of communication, and he would just go off on his own. And for me, I found that a little bit sad, and I really wanted him to fit in, and I wanted him to play with everybody else and be comfortable. But I quickly realized that the reason he wasn't always playing with the friends or following the rules to the game was because he faced a lot of barriers due to his autism that were preventing him from playing and having fun with his friends. One of the biggest barriers facing children with autism when they're learning how to play and interact with their friends is a lack of imitation skills. Most children, when growing up, they're watching their parents and other friends, and they're learning to play through imitation. An autistic child doesn't naturally have that ability all the time. Sometimes they do, but not all the time. And that can make it difficult for them to learn how to play through imitation. So they can't just learn how to play by watching a friend. They may not even notice that a friend is playing differently or playing at all in the same room, if not right beside them. So a lack of imitation skills makes it very difficult for them to play with their friends and follow the rules and cooperate with everything that's going on around them. Many autistic children also have a lack of pretend play skills. What I mean by that is that, by the age of 3, kids are very imaginative, and they have many different scenarios for many different kinds of toys and situations. For example, they may have a car and they may have a donkey, and this car and this donkey are going on a crazy adventure, and they're going to be picking up their best friends, and they're going to end up at Disney World. For most kids by the age of 3, these things are sort of running through their minds, and they're coming up with many different ways to play with many different types of toys. For an autistic child, that is very difficult. They may not have that imaginative sort of play. It needs to be taught to them. And that makes it difficult for them to interact with their friends because they are more rigid and more strict in their play. And their friends may want to create scenarios and not play the exact same way over and over and over again, whereas that's much more comfortable for them, and that's the way they like to play because it's more comfortable. So they need to be taught imaginary play skills in order to be able to interact with their friends on that level. Around the age 2.5, 3 is when I knew for sure that something was happening with Shane. He had a severe lack of communication skills compared to the other kids in his daycare. 2.5, 3, these kids were talking all the time, asking 1,000,001 questions, coming up with 1,000,001 scenarios, and Shane, not so much. And that's actually quite common for autistic children. Not every autistic child has a lack of communication skills, but many of them do. It is very difficult for a child to play when they have a hard time saying what they want or what they're interested in or what they don't want. And that makes it difficult for them to interact with their playmates. It's just completely normal. So if your child is having a speech delay, a communication delay, even a comprehension delay, these are reasons why it makes it more difficult for them to play with their friends, and that's the main reason why they play a little bit differently and may play on their own a little bit more. Joint attention is something that could be very difficult for an autistic child. It's something that most children will just learn from observing people and places and situations in their everyday life. However, for an autistic child, they will often need to be taught joint attention. For example, turn taking during a board game, or multiple people doing a puzzle together. These are things that other kids just sort of pick up on, but for an autistic child, they're going to need to be taught turn taking, waiting, engaging on one topic with multiple people. The most important thing you need to know about autistic children and playing is that they love to play just as much as any other child. Many of these sort of co-playing and playing skills that they need can be taught through therapies and group activities and even things that you do at home with your child. Just remember, your child loves to play, even if it is repetitive play that they do over and over again, or if it's lining up their dinosaurs the same way as they always do. They're being a child, they're playing the best way and the most comfortable way they know how. I hope you learned something from this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Better yet, share it with somebody that you think it might help. Thanks again for being here. Have a great day. We'll speak soon.